Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him two lips like roses and clover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are.
Hello everybody, my name is Trtf. I am the developer of the new project I am working on, as everybody has already know, and I will be discussing in this video about the new project that I am currently working on. And I'll also be answering you guys' questions that you guys have been asking me with the hashtag Trtf Qa on Twitter and everywhere else. This video is in fact unscripted, so I will be reading off things and basically answering questions through my own mind instead of it going through a script. So the first question is by Nick Vision. It says, will it be made in ClickTeam? Yes, it will be made in ClickTeam. The next question is by Mr. Nobody. Will you remake Trtf 5 after this project? If yes, will you remake all of the models or use/improve the old ones? Yes, I will be remaking Trtf 5 very soon, but not after this project, and I'll explain why later. But no, I will not be reusing the old models. I'll be remaking the models actually, and they will not be the torture models. I'm going to be remaking them and make the hybrids. The hybrids are going to be coming back for Trtf 5. So, except here's a catch. They're not going to be called hybrids. They're going to be called torture still, because of their mechanisms and how they're used. Alright, next question. This is by Frez. 1. Is the brand new Trtf game going to be linked to Trtf? 2. When is the game planned to release? And 3, take a rest after you make this game. This is not a question, but still. To answer your first question, yes, it is linked to Trtf, but not in the way that you would imagine, and I'll explain later. When is this game going to be released? That is actually currently unknown, because the game's file size currently is nearly as big as Trtf 5's. The game is not going to be as large as Trtf 5, but it will be close to being as large as Trtf 5. Pretty close. Because, and yes, it is pretty ambitious of me to do so, but I am very confident in this project and very confident for its release. So, and yes, I will be taking a rest for quite a while after this game's released, so don't worry. Next question is by Salamence. Says, will you continue Trtf 5 where you left off or start 100% new? And how many characters will there be in this game? No, I will not be continuing Trtf 5 where I left off. I will be starting all over completely from scratch, and for a very good reason. So that I actually know what I'm doing. And how many characters will be in this game? I'm not sure if you're referring to Trtf 5 or this new game that I'm working on, but I will actually answer that for you in just a second. Let me just open my plans document. Let me see. There are 8 characters, and there's a 9th secret character that is extremely important to the lore, but it's not physical, if that makes sense. That's the only hint I can ever give out. Next question is by Shane JZ Gamer Films. What's Vincent's and Allison's last names? Well, to be quite honest, I don't think I gave both of them last names from what I'm aware of. But yeah, I don't think I gave them last names. Not that I'm aware of. Next question is by Alejandro. Will Lockjaw come back? Yes, he will come back, just not in this project. And I have a very good reason for that. I have very special plans for this character, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I'll explain the reason why Lockjaw's not in this one in just a few moments. Let me see. Next question is by Charming Magician. Which game was the most fun to make? And what is your least/favorite model from the games? And if you could remove something from Trtf 1 through 4, what would it be? I would probably say Trtf 5 was the most fun to make. It was probably the most irritating and probably at the same time the most fun to make because of how interesting it was to make it, because it was way out of my skill level, and it definitely taught me a lot making Trtf 5. It taught me more than I should. It taught me more than I would have known. So thanks to Trtf 5, I wouldn't be capable of doing things I am right now. So I have Trtf 5 to thank for that. What is your least favorite? What's your least favorite or favorite model from the games? My least favorite model from the games would probably have to be the Trtf 2 models from Alpha, because of how completely shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, Trtf 1 through 3's models weren't the greatest. Trtf 4's was meh. Trtf 5's was okay. It'd probably have to. I don't know. That's a hard question. There's so many. My favorite model from the games would probably have to be the Beast, though, because that was probably the most fun for me to make. If you could remove something from Trtf 1 through 4, what would it be? If I could remove something from Trtf 1 through 4, it would probably have to be. It would probably have to be like a pink cat thing. Alright, next question by Nibboboy. Who is the owner of GPD and Frankfurt's Pizza? What was the map frame for? Could you reveal some of the last names of the character? The owner of GPD and Frankfurt's Pizza was actually... I didn't come up with a name for them yet, but I will in this new project. Starting from this new project, and I'll explain why in a few moments, yet again. What was the map frame for? I'm not quite sure what you were referring to. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, the owner of Frankfurt's Pizza and GPD, I didn't come up with a name for him yet, but he will have a name in this, starting from this new project, and so on and so forth. Next question, by Walkie_official. What made you want to make Trtf/Five Nights at Freddy's 3 fan-made? I don't know. Honestly, I didn't intend for the franchise to be serious. Like, I didn't intend for it to have its own story. I just made it for fun. I didn't intend on anything, and it just blew up within the first 5 hours, and I was surprised. But I guess what made me want to do it was just because it would be fun. I don't know. I thought it'd be fun, and it actually was fun. Probably the most fun I've had within game development in a long time. So, next question by Gavin. Hey Tyler, I was wondering if there was going to be some interesting cutscenes. Also wondering about gameplay mechanics. Yes, there will be a lot of cinematic cutscenes. I still intend to use my formula that I did in Trtf 5 or Trtf R, if that makes sense, because back during Trtf R, I introduced cinematic cutscenes for the fan game thing, and I would like to use that formula again into this new project. And I still intend to do that, and I'm going to take my time with this to make sure that everything looks all nice and pretty, and it's not just graphics, but, you know, to make sure the cutscenes at least look appealing, if that makes sense. And gameplay mechanics, I'm afraid I cannot reveal that. So, next question. Is Trtf 5 still happening? I am curious. Oh, this is by Tomastis. Yes, Trtf 5 is still happening. Not after this project though, because Trtf 5 has actually been moved later, and I'll explain later. This is the next question by Artsy Puppy. Let me see. 1. Which game was the hardest to make? And 2. How long does it take to make a model? 3. Is the new game Trtf 5 or something else? And 4. Do I hate Mars bars? To answer your question, 1. Trtf 5. But Trtf 5 was probably the most interesting and fun to make at the same time. 2. How long does it take to make a model? It all depends on detail, to be honest. The longest part of making an animatronic is probably the endoskeleton, because of the details and such. And then afterwards it just takes, depending on motivation and how determined I am to make a model. Let's just say I have a lot of motivation and determination to make a model, right? It'll probably take me, I want to say, several hours to pretty much make the outer shell, but it will take probably almost a week for me to make an endoskeleton. Is the new game Trtf 5 or something else? The new game is not Trtf 5. It is something else. I will explain that in just a few moments. And do I hate Mars bars? I have no idea. This is another question by Billy Wiz. Says, hey Tyler, remember when you worked on Rodslaw and Tico's Mania back in 2016? Yes, I actually do remember. Because of Rodslaw, Tico's Mania wouldn't have existed, so... yeah. This is another question by SGT Sierra. So, is this related to Trtf 5 in any way? This is not Trtf 5, but it is related. Like, connected. So yes. This is another question by Flintfun. What's your favorite animatronic in the Trtf saga? Counting Trtf 5, Frank Burt's, and the upcoming game. I would probably have to say the Beast. The Beast is my favorite animatronic. So, counting Trtf 5, Frank Burt's, and the upcoming game. Yeah, I would probably have to say the Beast. This is another question by Comic Fanatic. And the question is Lockjaw still a character in the saga? I fixed due to forgetting the hashtag. Yes, Lockjaw is still a character in the saga. He is still canon. He is not retconned. This is by Sonic Media CD. He asks, is Lockjaw in this game? How long is this game? And how important is this game in terms of lore? Lockjaw is not in this game. This game, I'm trying to make this game really, like, not too long, but at the same time, like, long enough. I want to make this game long enough to accomplish it. Like, it takes a while to accomplish this game, like to beat it, to finish the game. Kind of like those gameplays that you see on YouTube of Outlast and other various long horror games. Yeah, something like around maybe that range, maybe a teeny tad bit shorter. But yeah, it depends on how devoted and determined the person is to beating the game. It depends on that. This game is also very important to the lore, and I'll explain why in just a few moments. This is another question by Dearman814. Is this new Trtf game, if this new Trtf game is indeed a remake of The Return of Freddy's 1, then do you have any plans on remaking Trtf 2, 3, and 4 as well? This is the part where I actually do reveal the name of the game and what it is. Okay, this game is in fact called The Return to Freddy's. It is not The Return to Freddy's, insert, subtitle here. It's just The Return to Freddy's. And yes, this game is not a remake. It is not a remaster. but it is a reboot. I am rebooting the franchise. Mainly because of reasons in terms of the lore, and also because I want this game to have a clean slate. So I mean, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. There was limitations I had, not the Click Team. I could do a lot in Click Team, but in terms of myself, there was limitations that I myself had at the time. Trtf 1 or FNAF Free Fan Game, I wasn't able to do the stuff I can do with Click Team now. Like what I did with Trtf 5. I wasn't able to do that. I wanted to do, since people wanted more after FNAF Free Fan Game's release, or ever since it's been renamed to The Return to Freddy's, I've been wanting to go into a specific direction for a very long time. I had so much ideas in my head. I mean, there are some I could do, like the dog whistle, for example, and various other things, but there's more that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it because of the limitations that I myself had. So I couldn't. So basically, I was on a leash with the franchise. So I had to do it in one way or the other. I could either do what I wanted and fuck it up, or, well, because of how unpolished it would be and how broken it would be, or two, I can continue into a very shackled path and then later on reboot it into the path I've always wanted it, so that I have enough knowledge to actually do what I want with the franchise. So this isn't. I wanted to make TRTF, and not make TRTF FNAF, if that makes sense. But for a long time, I've made TRTF FNAF. So I wanted TRTF to be in its own little bubble. That's what I did with TRTF 5, Frank Burt's, and Rodslaw. That's why Volume 2 was so different from Volume 1, because TRTF 5, I was actually able to do the things I've wanted. I was able to take the franchise in the direction I wanted, which is why Volume 2 was so different from Volume 1. Volume 1 was more like FNAF, pretty much. Volume 2 was going its own direction. Because of that, I decided, hey, you know what? This would be a perfect opportunity to actually give this franchise a clean slate and actually make TRTF, and not TRTF FNAF, you know? So, I took the opportunity, and I'll explain. Okay, what made me come back to this, what made me come back to the franchise is one day, like, I think back, I want to say back in August. I don't remember exactly when. I want to say back in August. I was on my laptop and I was writing my book, right? And one day I was like, I was asking a friend of mine if I can have the Return to Freddy's 5 MFA. And I told him because I wanted to look through it for nostalgia's sake, and that was the truth. I wanted to look through it because I wanted to see what I've given up, to kind of backtrack and think about it. So when he sent me the file and I downloaded it and transferred the file from my phone to my laptop, I looked through it and I'm like, man, if only this game would have been released. And my brother Sean was sitting next to me and he was watching me and such, and he was telling me about how he wished that TRTF 5 was actually finished because he was really looking forward to it. And he asked if I would ever, go back to making it again. I said, no, I can't. I don't think I can do it. I can, but I don't think I would be willing to do it, is what I'm trying to say. But as I'm looking through the files, like each frame by frame and frame, this spark of motivation keeps coming back to me, and I'm trying to reject it. Like, I'm trying to reject the thought, like, man, I really want to finish this game now that I'm looking at it. But I keep rejecting the thought of it. And now I've had this slight temptation to actually continue the franchise, kind of finish from where I started. And I told Sean that I would only finish this under one condition, and just as long as I can actually reboot the franchise. And of course, Sean agreed to the deal, and a deal was made. I decided to reboot the franchise. So that's how this whole thing was born, and ever since, starting from August to September when I announced Operation Bigfoot, which Operation Bigfoot is actually this project I'm working on. And Operation Bigfoot is pretty much rebooting the franchise. So ever since August, ever since that day, I started planning things out, like the whole entire franchise. I started playing at Volume 1 and Volume 2. There is no Volume 3, there never has been, and there never will be. But I started planning out the mechanics for the new Trtf 1, the new Trtf 2, the new Trtf 3, and so on and so forth. I planned out the story, what it's about, the mechanics, the ideas I have, everything. So everything's actually already finished and done. I already have every single thing of Volume 1 and Volume 2 already planned out. I already have the mechanics, the ideas, and the story already all planned out and finished. And I have the new rebooted story already planned out as well. So I made sure that there are no plot holes, and I will not ever reveal the story of this new franchise. I never will. So please don't ask for me to reveal it. I did go through the new story several times just to be sure that there are no plot holes and to avoid anything of that matter. So I tried my hardest to make sure that things make sense on terms of 1, law, and 2, just just makes sense in general. So at the same time, adding things that are out of, laws of physics, like torture mechanics, I still kept those in because I like the idea of making Frankenstein's monster, pretty much, like using people's insides and dissecting it and such, and making it into fuel to pretty much just make Frankenstein's monster. I like the idea of it. It's I don't know, I just like it. So I'm keeping that in. While we're on that subject, I do want to explain really quickly what has been retconned, so that you guys are aware of what not to expect from the new rebooted franchise. Here are a list of things I have been retconned. Kitty Fazcat, she's been retconned. Withered Balloon Boy, or just Balloon Boy in general, he's been retconned. Purple Guy has been retconned. Mike Schmidt has been retconned. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has been retconned. Fredbear's Family Diner has been retconned. Springlock suits have been retconned because in the TRTF universe they use actual mascot costumes instead of Springlock suits, because risking your life to perform for kids doesn't make any sense at all. Plus, to add, just to keep it in its own original bubble, more logical bubble, if that makes sense. And yeah, I know it's like torture devices and such. Yeah, I know, but it's not to perform for kids, so it's used for slave labor and humiliation. So that's a different subject. Fazbear's Fantasyland has also been retconned, and Freddy Fazzy Funtime has been retconned, but it's Freddy Fazzy Funtime's getting renamed to Fred Studios, I want to say. Hold on, let me scroll up and see through the pun list. Yeah, Fred Studios. And Femjaw has also been retconned, has been added to the retcon list as well. And I retconned these for personal reasons, lore reasons, and for originality reasons. So those are gone. Okay, anyways, yes, I will be remaking the whole entire franchise. Next question. SGP asks, I have multiple questions, so I'll try to fit some of them into this tweet. 1, how long do you think it'll take to beat this game? I actually already answered that question, so I'll skip that. 2, what are your favorite and least favorite characters to model in this TRTF game? I already answered that one too. So I'll just answer the last one. Number 3, will there be multiple endings for this TRTF game? Yes, there will be multiple endings. Alright, next question. This is by SolveRexVR. The history of this new game will be connected to with the old game's history. By history, do you mean lore? If so, no. The other side is history, as in like just the overall games in general. No. The new game is in its own rebooted bubble. The old games are no longer canon. Is Kitty Fazgat still in the saga and story, or is she a cut character now? Already answered that question. Next question. This is by that one ginger. Why is Allison so insane? I can't, and there's actually a reason behind it, but I won't answer that because that has to do with revealing lore and who a specific character, which I do not want to bring up because it's spoiler worthy. But you'll find out in the rebooted franchise. You'll find out. It'll actually give a reason why. Tyler the Fox asks, did you write the entire story before making the games, or just built up a story with the games? I actually did not write the whole entire story in the old franchise, the old, no longer canon franchise. Actually, every single game, I just built up the lore. I didn't make a story beforehand, and the dreadful truth was not that. The dreadful truth was just my way of trying to connect the dots and trying to make sense out of the messy things in the lore. And to a lot of people, it did make sense, but to a lot of other people who still didn't grasp the whole of it, and I can understand why. But this lore right here, the new rebooted lore, it's all been written down. It's all been written down. I've made sure there's no plot holes, as I've mentioned before, and hopefully everything will make sense for people who think long and hard enough. So, yeah, the new rebooted lore the whole entire thing has already been written down. But the old lore, the old franchise, that has been built up as the games progress. So, next question. This is by Roxas Keys. He asked, wait, are you back to working on TRTF? If you are, then that would feel so nostalgic, since TRTF was one of my favorite fan games. Aw. Yes, I am back to working on the Return to Freddy's. So, this franchise will not be how it was before. This franchise will be extremely different, and with a whole new experience. I would probably say a TRTF 5-like experience. Randomous asks, is this game gonna continue the story from TRTF 1 through 5, or is it gonna be a reboot? Like I've said before, it is a reboot. If it's a reboot, please no Super Cancer. Okay, about that actually. The Super Cancer was actually a last-minute decision. I didn't actually take the time to actually come up with a technical, more medical term for the disease. This time around I will, though. Since the franchise is being rebooted, I am gonna take the time to actually come up with a serious technical / medical term for it instead of calling it Super Cancer, which was a last-minute decision. But yes, I am not doing that shit again. That was actually terrible and a bad decision on my part. So that was my mistake, and that is not happening again. I'm taking my time to come up with a medical term for it that would actually sound like an actual disease name. All right, next question. Why did you delete all your videos? This is by Alejandro again. Why did you delete all your videos? I actually did it for... I wanted my channel to be more revolved around business, like the business side of things. I mean, I will upload live streams. If I ever do make live streams, I will be doing it on YouTube instead of Twitch, because from what I've never used YouTube for live streaming, but from what I understand, I could be wrong. YouTube does upload live streams for you after you're done, so that would help a lot, because people tend to ask me to upload my live stream after I'm done on Twitch. And both recording and live streaming does take up a lot of CPU, and it does tend to lag, and I don't want laggy, and I don't want a laggy live stream. So I'm going to be using YouTube from now on. So I will be uploading live streams on my YouTube channel whenever I do have a live stream, and trailers and Q&A videos, and that's it. Only business stuff. This is by Salamence again. He or she asks, will this TRTF game be free roam? I don't like free roam, to be honest. I only like free roam in a very specific way. I like free roam the way I did it in Trtf 5. I don't like the WASD free roam because it doesn't feel FNAF-like. And at the same, this may be weird of me to say because I did say before that I want Trtf to be in its own bubble, not in the FNAF bubble, even though it has animatronics. But I'm saying gameplay-wise, story-wise, everything else. I do like the feel and aesthetic of point-and-click free roam, mainly because if it's WASD, it just feels like every other horror game, because I would like a different experience, if that makes sense. So no, this new Trtf game will not be free roam. It will be somewhat free roam, but not, because you're only going in 2 areas, and that's it. The cutscenes, however, you will be able to move around. So, somewhat free roam, not Trtf 5 caliber free roam. Because that one was extremely, you know, literally just point-and-click free roam everywhere. This is another question by the F3 Line King. Oh, the Feline King, okay. He or she asks, what made you want to come back to FNAF and Trtf? I actually already answered this question, so I'll go to the next question. This is by Trex Tirano. He asks, is this new Trtf game I already answered this question. Next question. This is by Lambo Zach. He asks, are you making Trtf games again? Haven't visited your profile in a while. If you are, then awesome. Yes, I am making Trtf games again. I am rebooting the whole entire franchise. This is by Artsy Puppy again. He asks, what's next after this? Back to game development, making that Trtf Truth film, or you don't know yet? I wouldn't really say. I mean, I don't. Due to how my interests, I don't think I want to just go in a one-track genre of making things. Like I used to be on a one-track mind with career, with what I wanted for my career. I used to back in 2010 when I started doing game development on the old Game Maker. I wanted to do game dev, but at the same time I wanted to make videos and films and stuff like that. I wanted to be creative, like be in a more creative content mindset. So I switched back and forth because I always thought that I had to only do one thing with my career. But little did I realize I could do both. I could do multiple things if I wanted to. So I usually just label myself a content creator at this point. So I'll be going back to game development, and I am going to be going to SCAD University very soon to take film classes so I can learn the arts of filming, so I can learn more at least on the art of filming, CGI, visual effects, 3D modeling, and animation. So it would benefit with game development and both film. So I will be making the Dreadful Truth film whenever I am actually ready and actually prepped for it. And I will be making games on the side as well. This is another question by that one Ginger again. He asks, any scrapped characters from the Trtf games? No, there actually isn't any scrapped characters at all, actually. Other than right now, since the franchise is being rebooted. Alright, next question by the Real Asher Titan. He asked, will there be cutscenes or secret minigames? Yes, there will be cutscenes, there will be cinematics, and there will also be secret minigames. Alright, next question. JPlays asks, is there going to be secrets / references / Easter eggs? Yes, there will be a lot, and I mean a lot of secrets, references, and Easter eggs. Sometimes when you play the game, I won't spoil anything. This isn't anything spoiler worthy, but you will see a lot of references to various horror films. Not a lot, not too much, but there will be some references to horror films that I've watched, and there will be a lot of Easter eggs and secrets for you guys to discover. This is another question by Tyler Callahan. He asked, will you put visions from the past / flashbacks or something like that? No. I'll probably save that for the next TRTF project I have, but not for this one. Alright, next question. This is by King Cat Games. He asks, how did you make your TRTF games? Do you draw out your ideas or think of them in your head? I do both. I draw them. I mean, back then, when I made the old TRTF franchise, I just YOLO'd it. I didn't plan out anything. The only thing I really planned out was Trtf 5. Trtf 5, well, pretty much the whole entire Volume 2. That's pretty much all I planned out. And shit like that. When I started on Tinker's Mania, I started sketching. So, like, character concepts, and it really did help. It helped me a lot with what character design I'm actually going for. And ever since, I started actually typing out my ideas onto a document file and sketching out some concepts that I wanted to go for, like, so I can have a set goal. But yeah. Alright, next question. Will Lockjaw be in this game? This is by Alejandro. Will Lockjaw be in this game? No. This is one last question by Drago, and he asked, what is the lore? Well, you see, one day there was... okay, I'm not gonna... No, I was gonna joke, but I'm not gonna do that. Okay, I'm not gonna answer that. Alright, that's all the questions. I hope this has been some vague help with what you all have been asking. And, I hope... Oh wait, there's one more question. I'm sorry, hold on. I forgot there's a Discord message. I forgot there was like a message on Discord I had to answer. Will we ever... This is by Obscurity. He asks, will we ever see this spiraled animatronics in action? Yes. Someday. But, yeah. I hope this has been some vague help with the questions that you've been asking, and I hope this is... I hope the answers has been satisfying enough to grasp a hold of. This game will not... This game will come out very soon, probably. I want to... Don't get your hopes up on it being released this year. But it will be released... I mean, there's no way in hell it's going to be released this year. It's almost 2018. I want to estimate... This isn't an exact date, but I want to probably say this game might be released around probably March or April. So, if not, probably early May. One of the three. That's just an estimate, that's not a confirmed date. Just keep that in mind. The trailer will probably, in my guess, be released... I want to say probably February. Alright, so I hope this has been some fake help. I hope all the questions have been satisfying enough, and I have to get back to work. So I will see you all on the flip side whenever the trailer comes out. I hope you see you all till then, and goodbye.